Hello everyone, today we are going to deal with the topic of language variety, but before moving into the main topic, I want your attention on the linguistics. This topic is increasing day by day in UGC NAT as well as in other competitive exams of your English literature. So I will say that don't skip this topic of linguistics. At the same times, I will also say that don't go to study all the topics of linguistics, but at least study those topics which are asked, which are given in your masters or in your graduation. So now without wasting time, let's just start the topic. What is variety of language? So variety of language variety, write a note on language variety. So friends, this language variety, how it is formed? So language variety is a distinct type of a language or linguistic expression. It is a distinct type of language or linguistic expression, as language is related to the culture or society, and as the same society and culture changes, so is the language. So language is also, or you can say language is related to humans, and human differ from each other on the basis of geography, region, occupation. Hence, because of all these factors, language also differs in form of variety. In a simple terms, if I say is language, if you say this language is related to humans, and humans differ from each human other humans on several factors. On the basis of geography, they differ from each other. On the basis of education, on the basis of gender, and many other factors you can understand or you can comprehend by yourself. So if language is related to humans and humans differ from each other on the basis of geography or education and age and other factors, so language will also differ. Then language, for example, I'm saying this, understand what I am saying. This is your central language, this is your language. Suppose this is English, and English also will have different varieties. For example, the person living here will speak certain kind of English, will have certain vocabulary, pronunciation, or grammar. But the person living in this area will slightly differ from this place in the terms of language. Means he will be using the same language, but there will be difference in his pronunciation, vocabulary, or grammar. So language which slightly differs in vocabulary or pronunciation forms a variety. That forms the variety of a language. Language, here what it says, English language has emerged from different environment. Even the native speakers of the language, like Australian American Britishers, are very different from each other on the level of sound, words, and vocabulary. The same concept which I am explaining here is given in the word format here. So now this standard English concept. What is this standard English concept? So without going to the theory, I will explain you in a simple terms. For example, this is the specific reason, and in this is a specific reason. People of this region will speak certain language. For example, the people are speaking English. Now there will be other regions around the world, they will also speaking the same language, but the language of this region, whatever the language is spoken in this particular region, the people of this region will have certain kind of written document of their vocab or and grammar. So because of the written document available of the language which is spoken in this specific region, the society, maximum people will accept it, and this reason will become standard. Means this reason will become standard of a language which is spoken here. Now other languages, or this language is also spoken in other areas, but these areas language will be compared to this standard English dialect. Means in a simple terms, if I say in a simple terms, this reason will become the standard one, and the vocab and grammar will become the standard. Now the language English which will be spoken in other regions will be compared with the vocab and the grammar available in the document of this region's language, this region English. The English which is spoken in this region will be the standard one, and the other regions English will be compared with this region vocab and grammar. So this is the standard English concept. So you can also go by the definition. Standard English is the language spoken and written by educated class, and some linguistics prefer it as a specific geographical dialect of English or a dialect of English favored by the powerful group. Standard language is a variety that is highly accepted and estimated in the society and culture, which can be usually accessed by written documents like grammar and vocabulary. Now, friends, language is the collection of many dialects. In a single language, there are many dialects. For example, we can take the example of English. In English only, there is Australian English, American English, British English, Spanish English, France, uh, Spanish English. If a person speak any of these dialects, means if a person is speaking Australian English, if a person is speaking American English, then the person will be considered to be speaking in the English language. A speech community means a person or the group of person using same language, both live or born with the language, means either that language is transferred to them or they are born with that language, means that is their native language. For example, Chinese speaking community and Germanic speaking community. Now, variation in the language, we have also seen this. There is a variation with the time and space. A person living in the same time and space, for example in the Britain only, there will be variation in the language, and that will form the variety. In the British English only, you can say regional variation from southern parts of England and London. Variation can also be because of occupation, gender. I have already mentioned this in the variety of language. You can say you can see the difference in Chaucerian English, present day English, Yorkshire dialect, and Chancery English. Chancery, no, this is Chaucery English. You can skip it. So friends, these are the varieties which form in a specific region of a Britain only, means in some parts there will be different language and in other parts there will be different language, which forms the variety or variation in the language. Now, despite being homogeneous, this English, despite being homogeneous, it is dynamic and variable. It is homogeneous but it is dynamic and variable entity, means the evolution and continuous changes are there in the language. So what is variety? I have already shown. It is different, it is a distinct type of a language on the basis of factors like education, occupation, gender, etc. What is code? Code is a way of communication in which two people communicate, and it also from the variety. For example, friends, if there are two persons, they will be speaking in a different tone. For example, if the two persons are American, they will have a different code of communication. If two persons are Australian, they will have a different code of communication. So this forms the variety of a language. So code is also a way of communication between two people and form a variety of language. On the basis of these things, only on the basis of communication and different uses, there are different varieties of language like dialects, idialects, jargon, pidgin, carol, style, etc. On the basis of nature not, it is on the basis of native and non-native. You can change it here. It is on the basis of native and non-native speakers. So on the basis of native and non-native speakers, there are two varieties of language. First is accent and second is dialect. Now friends, for dialects you must remember certain things. What I am saying is, for dialect you must remember certain things. First is grammar, vocabulary and pronunciation. So in dialect there is complete change in grammar, vocabulary and pronunciation. It is a variety of a language which has a different grammar, different vocabulary and different pronunciation. So you are going to remember these three keywords. Now we are going with the definition. Dialect is a variety of language which differs in vocabulary, grammar and pronunciation. And as per David Crystal, what does he says? It is a variety of language which uses grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary to identify social background or regional background of the speaker. Now friends, I am deconstructing it in a simple terms. Now what does it says? For example, this is USA. The person is speaking English. If he is speaking English, he will be using certain kind of grammar, he will be using certain sentences, words and pronunciation, and on the basis of those pronunciation I can identify that to which specific region or to which country this person belongs to, because he will be using specific words, he will be using specific pronunciations. So on the basis of his pronunciation I can identify that this person belongs to Spain, or this person belong to Britain, or this person belong to USA. Means on the basis of his grammar, on the basis of his pronunciation, on the basis of his vocabulary, we can identify the social background or the regional background of the. It is a variety that is used in a particular region with a specific vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. So this is dialect. Now, a system or a study of dialect is called dialectology, and there are different types of dialects. First is the regional dialect, second is social dialect, and third is ethnolect, and fourth is idiolect. Now friends, what is regional dialect? Regional dialect means, friends, in the regional dialect, I will be giving the example. For example, we are speaking Hindi. We speak Hindi in India. So when we speak Hindi, a person who is speaking Hindi from Bihar will speak Bhojpuri. The person who is from MP, he will be using Hindi that will be Bundelkhandi. So he will be using a different dialect. There will be different dialect in Bundelkhandi, and there will be different dialect in Bhojpuri. So this Bhojpuri version of Hindi and this Bundelkhandi version of Hindi determines the region. That is called regional dialect. We identify this dialect from its region. So this Bhojpuri dialects gives the region of Bihar. This Bundelkhandi dialect tells us about the MP. Now comes the social dialect. Social dialect is a variety that is defined by social class or social background of the speaker, belongs to the social class, gender, occupation. Means whatever the societal constructs are there, on the basis of that, if a person is speaking the language, for example, there is a gender which is determined by the society. So this is the societal this is constructed by the society. So the male and female, these are the two constructs of gender by the society. So male will be using a different kind of dialect, female will be using a different kind of dialect in a specific reason only. So the dialect which is formed because of the societal construct will be called as social dialects because of society. Now ethnolect, friends, by the word itself you can understand that ethnolect means ethnic, means a specific ethnic group will be using this dialect. I am giving the example of English only. You can see the African American is the type of ethnolect. How this happens, I am sorting it, or I am giving you the conclusion. For example, you can assume it in this way: person at the early, before the industrial revolution, they were taken from Africa to America for labor purpose. So some of them settled there. So the African now settled in America, the generations which are produced now, the generation of African people which are produced there, they will be using Africa American English, because there will be a bit of African accent also, a bit of African features also, there will be a bit of American features also. So now this dialect become unique, which we called as ethnolect. They will be using this Africa American English, who the people who migrated from Africa to US. Now comes the idiolect. What is idiolect? Idiolect is a unique way of each individual of using a language. For example, I am speaking English. If I am speaking English, there will be certain terms, there will be certain words which I may oftenly use in my communication or in my speaking. You as a listener, you might, or you definitely have some kinds of words which you oftenly use in your speaking. We both are speaking this common language English, but we use it in different way. So this uniqueness is called idiolect, which belongs to each and every individual. Now we must go by the definition. No two people can have same usage of a language. They have at least minimum difference. Hence every individual have a personal dialect which we call idiolect. So this is all about the dialects. Now coming on the basis of native and not native speaker, we were discussing dialect. Now coming to the accent. What does accent? So mean accent, generally you have to focus only one thing, that it differs in pronunciation. Accent means pronunciation. Whatever the words are we are using, that differs only in pronunciation. For example, the person who belongs to Britain, he will be using different pronunciation for a particular word, and the person who belongs to US or America or to the other countries, he will be using different pronunciation for that particular word. For example, we can say a market will be pronunciated differently by American, whereas market will, this market word, the word is same, but it will be pronunciated differently by the Britisher. So this is accent. This is variety which forms on the basis of native and non-native speaker. Now friends, on the basis of usage, we have some other forms or the varieties of language. First is register, jargon, pidgin, carol, style, etc. Now we just look it by the definition. What does register? Register, you must remember, is a specific situation. The variety you or variety not the words, body language or gestures you use in a specific situation, that is called register, and this forms the variety of a language. It is a variety of language used in a particular situation or a specific situation. Class of words, tone, vocabulary for the specific situation, means in a specific situation or in a particular situation, the kind of words, the kind of vocabulary, the kind of body language you use, that becomes the register and it forms the variety of a language. So in a particular situation, what kind of registers you're going to use, that is given by Halliday. So it depends on three factors, the kind of register you are going to use in a specific situation. First is the field of discourse, second is the mode of discourse, and third is tenure of discourse. What is field of discourse? The topic discussed, what kind of topic discussed, on the basis of that you are going to use the register. Mode of discourse means in which mode you are going to discuss the things, that is either that is oral or that is written, on the basis of that you are going to use the register. Then tenure of discourse, relationship between participants. Friends, we have oftenly seen that if we go for the communication or we go for the discussion with friends, we use different kind of words, different kinds of registers. And when we are discussing something with our family, friends, or with in a professional environment, we use different kind of register. So here register is dependent on these three factors as per Halliday, means what kind of register you are going to use depends on these three factors: field of discourse, mode of discourse, and tenure of discourse. Now comes the jargon. What is jargon? Jargon is the words or the things or the whatever the features of a language you are going to use in a specific field. Variety associated with a specific field like medicine and technology. This may seem meaningless to others. Means in medicine only we use a certain words which might be very useful in medicine, but it is meaningless to other field. In the technology it will be of no use. So this is medicine. So this is jargon. Jargon is the words or the vocabulary, grammar that is used in a specific field which might seem meaningless to the other field. Now what is pidgin? Pidgin, in pidgin, friends, in pidgin, that is, I will explain it in simple terms. This is two language. This is the native speaker of, this is the person who is native speaker of one language, this is the person who is native speaker of other language. Now these, for example, this is a Chinese person and this is Indian. Now Indian don't know Chinese and Chinese don't know Indians. Now they have to communicate, they have to do business. So they will pick the words from each other language and they communicate. When they pick the language from each other's language, they form a pidgin, means a way of communication. For example, this is a Chinese female and this is a Indian male. Now they married. Now this pidgin will be transferred to their kids and their kids will have this pidgin as their native language. So when pidgin becomes their any generation's native language, it is called as Caroli or Carol. So I hope you understood the difference between pidgin and Carol. Again we can go by the definition. When two different native speaker of different language communicate with each other, form an ad hoc for communication, means they pick the words or the things from each other language and they communicate. This is called pidgin. There is no native speakers, there is no native speaker of pidgin. Several Indian languages like Chinese pidgin, I have already given you the example. Now when pidgin passes to next generation, then it becomes their first language and they become native speakers, and that variety is called Caroli. Now what is style? It is a typical way in which two or more people communicate or do a particular thing. So language style is the choice of words, vocabulary used by a specific group when they speak. For example, academic style used by doctors, means the kind of abbreviations and the kind of things the doctor use is a kind of, it is a style or a variety of a language which is used by the doctors. Now the six styles has been given by Martin Toys. These are the six styles of, no, this is the 6 point. 5 styles of spoken language is given by Martin Toys in 1961. First is the frozen means these style is unchangeable, the words which are used in Bible and law documents. Formal, it is applicable to the lectures in which there is only one way communication. This is one way communication. Now consultative, it involves two way communication. In this, fillers and interruptions are also allowed. Now casual is among, that is the style of a language which is used among friends, and common interactions are allowed in this. Now intimate, it is shared between two people of same background, or private vocabulary is used. For example, if the two person belong to the same area, they will have some kind of specific words in which they will communicate. So this is intimate. So friends, this was all about the variety of a language. I hope you understood it. And these are the handwritten notes which I had made in my masters, so you can use it. These are not the PDF formats. I have verified everything which I have written in my notes, and this is the handwritten notes which I have converted in the text format. So definitely you can use it for your answer writing and for your exams also. And one request, if you find this video helpful, you can subscribe to my channel, and also you can like it if you find it helpful. Thank you for listening.